All right, everybody. Welcome to our team Stay True team call. Usually I don't say team before Stay True. So welcome to our Stay True team call. There we go. It came out more naturally there. We are in the run here in August. And if for those of you that noticed my recognition for Success Club that I put in Stay True, it was pointed out to me that that should have said July, not August. So I apologize for that. But those were July results. But I've seen already some of you, Courtney, have already surpassed last month's numbers as far as Success Club points. So you have more than 10 points. I think, what do you have, 12, Courtney, right now? So we can't hear you. You're muted. But I think you said you have 14. So congrats on that. Keep going strong. I know there's some others of you on there that are also rocking it there. But anyway, so I wanted to recognize real quick this week's top point earners, or this past week's top point earners. You know, I was guilty this past week. I didn't hit 100 points, and I was, disappointed in that. But it is what it is. You have those on and off weeks like that, and I know that this time of year has been, a slower time of the year for all of us. So with that being said, I want to recognize Dan Barry. He was leading the way for our team with 560 team volume points. Moppy Byler was right behind him with 465. Beth Akins came in with 444. Courtney Miller, 220 points. Heather Lettermoser, 180 points. Alma Benner, 180 points. Marlene Antonius, 180 points. Andrea Evanich, 150 points. Kyle Hamblin, 135 points. And Jennifer Novak, 125 points. So congrats to all of those people who got over 100 points. That has been the shortest list that I've had to compile in literally probably about the last 18 months as I looked back and looked at the team volume. So overall, we are at a slow period, and I think, I've heard Jeff kind of reiterate that to his leaders, and, just kind of telling people, hang in there. We're about to take off here after Labor Day, and I'm sure Jeff might mention something about that as he talks tonight. So a couple reminders as far as Beachbody, what's going on. Keep in mind, everybody, that the health bet is coming up, and that starts on September 5th through October 2nd. The main idea behind that is you have to log in on the Team Beachbody app. You have to log in 3 workouts and then 5 Shakeology with pictures of the Shakeology post in order to qualify for that. So I think that that's going to be good. That's going to help us to run a challenge group and make Shakeology, or encourage people who maybe haven't been drinking Shakeology to definitely start to drink Shakeology in order to get their hands in the pot for the health bet there. So also, Beth pointed this out to me today, that Focus T25, I don't think this is really that new of news, but maybe just a reminder to people that Focus T25 and Masters Hammer and Chisel are both now available in the general member library for Beachbody On Demand. So they're continuing to add top programs and more value to Beachbody On Demand. There's no reason at all why we shouldn't all be recommending to our customers that they take advantage of that. And again, the pricing for that 3-month membership's $38.87. That's nothing new. The new part is you can get a 6-month membership, $59.95, or a 12-month membership for $99.95. So if you're already a club member, yes, you can upgrade that. Just go into your FAQ in your Coach Online office, and you can find out how to do that. So I am going to introduce you guys Jeff Armbruster. He's joined us. For those of you who don't know who Jeff is my personally sponsored coach, or I'm his personally sponsored coach, rather. And he is, give me 1 second. I'm trying to click on you, Jeff, to unmute you, but for some reason it's not letting me do that. So let me just... Okay, everybody is unmuted right now. Jeff, are you able to mute and unmute yourself?
Yep.
Okay, let me mute everybody, and then you go ahead and unmute yourself, just so we cut down on the background noise. Okay, Jeff, go ahead and unmute yourself. There you go. All right, so Jeff Armbruster, like I just mentioned, I'm his personally sponsored coach. I'm going to let him give his brief intro on who he is and everything. But you're what, a 9-star diamond coach, or collectively speaking, Jeff?
Collectively speaking, I'm a 12-star diamond coach.
Okay, so 12-star diamond coach, collectively speaking, and what we mean by that is, and you're coming through really quiet, Jeff, but Jeff has multiple business centers. He and Jason Diebold are kind of masterminds at building a business in Beachbody in order to not necessarily go for rank and rank achievement as far as getting the 15-star superstar diamond coach, but more to build a deep downline in order to maximize the amount of revenue that you can generate as a coach through helping people. So I'm honored to introduce to you the Millionaire Club member, Jeff Armbruster, to our call. Go ahead, Jeff.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? So tell me, Glenn, like what is hot right now with your team? What do you think would be a great topic? Because I can talk about financial freedom. I can obviously talk about, how to build effectively. But I'll tell you what's kind of, I'm going to say what's important to me right now is trying to find out from all of you how many people are all in. How many people really have what we call belief in what we're doing as a coach. That's kind of a hot topic with me right now, is this whole belief system, because just talking to some of the leaders within our team and talking to a number of our coaches, I think what everybody is lacking from taking you to where you're at right now to really, let's just call it what it is, financial freedom. That's what I think hopefully all of you guys are trying to gain from your coaching journey here is some financial freedom. And I think what most people are lacking is belief, really deep belief in what we're doing as a coach. And that comes out, the belief will come out in every conversation you guys have, whether it's somebody, Glenn mentioned the Beachbody On Demand and the new programs that are available, whether you're talking to them about that, whether you're talking to them about a challenge group that you're looking to get going, you're talking to a challenger that's already done that wants to become a coach. Every single person can tell how much belief you have in what you're doing. Those that have belief, like your leaders, Glenn and Mary Beth, are the ones that are going to take this coaching journey as far as you guys want it to go. Dan has belief. The people that I know who are building great businesses for themselves. And when I say great businesses, great can mean a number of different things. Maybe not all of you. I'm interested. By a show of hands, how many of you guys would like to do this full time? That's going to kind of really help me understand. Okay, everybody I'm seeing raise their hand except for that one that's on the phone. I can't tell what they're doing. But how many of you also at the same time really like what you do for your day job? Oh, Dan, you're a full-time coach, aren't you? Okay, so he's still doing it. So
I'm a boot camp instructor too, but it's kind of the same thing.
You're in the fitness world already. It's funny when I see people say, I really like what I do for my day job, but I want to be a full-time Beachbody coach. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Obviously, at some point, you're going to have to make that decision, to go all in or to kind of do both of these things. Your full-time job in Beachbody, to me, that's not really considered full-time if you're working your day job still. You're going to have to, you'll come to those crossroads. A few of you guys didn't raise your hands when I asked if you, wanted to maybe leave your day job. You said you wanted to go full-time, but I don't know how many people that don't, want to leave their full-time job. And that's something that I think will come for you. You'll get to that point when you see your Beachbody business growing. My journey is kind of an interesting one. And it's a fun story, so I won't be real long with it, Glenn, but it's always kind of good to let people know how I got started going in this. I got going in coaching back in 2009. Back in 2009, I'm going to say this and you guys are going to laugh, we didn't have Shakeology. There was no Shakeology when I first became a coach. So all we did was sell P90X over and over and over again. And it was tough. You know, it wasn't a great time. There wasn't the tools that you guys have now. There wasn't the Coach Online office. There wasn't challenge groups. There wasn't all this great training in the back office. There wasn't Zoom calls. We basically just pimped our friends and family members and coworkers, people that we met with P90X over and over again. It was a tough road. You guys have it a lot easier now in the sense of what's available to you. But I didn't necessarily know if I wanted to become a full-time coach. I worked at AT&T. I had this, I guess, belief. We're talking about belief, right? I had this belief that I was going to retire after 30 years from AT&T. You know, I thought what normal was working for 40 years, 30 to 40 years, for 40 or more hours a week, and then you retire on 40% of what you made in those 40 years. I thought that's what was normal. How many of you guys think that's normal? That's what you do. You work for 30 years, you retire on 40%, and for those 40 years, you're putting 40 hours or more in every single week. Is that normal to you? Is that normal to your parents? Yeah. You guys realize what we have available to us? We have the opportunity to not only help somebody get healthy and fit, both physically and maybe financially, but when you do that over and over again, because you believe, you have the belief in it, it freaking takes you to a place for your own family. It takes you to a place where you can say, holy crap, I get to do this full time. I get to work maybe a couple hours today and I can be present in my kids' lives, pick them up from school. That's the end game. That is the end game. The financial freedom is nice, but the end game of this coaching thing, and what I mean by end game is what the results are of helping people over and over again. The end game is being present in your own life instead of a witness to it. Too many of us are just a witness to our own life because we are doing the 40-40-40 plan. I talked about this up on stage in Dallas. The 40-40-40 plan is what our parents taught us to be what we had to do. Again, you work 40 or more hours a week for 40 or more years of your life, and you retire on 40% of what you were making when you were working. That sucks. We were not put on this earth to pay bills and die. We weren't. We were not put on this earth to pay bills and die. And too many of us are going to do that because we feel that's what's normal. We are the first generation. You know, obviously we have the millennials out there now who I think they can be scary at times, but you know, us, I guess you kind of consider us Generation Xers. We kind of have the ability to write our own ticket, but yet some of us are still scared to go all in because we think we have to have that day job. And there's nothing wrong with the day job. There's nothing wrong with it at all, especially if you love what you're doing. Who the hell is Glenn or myself or Mary Beth or Dan to tell you to do anything different? But if you don't like what you're doing, if you actually get sick to your stomach on Sunday nights because you know you have to go into your day job, you know, you dread Sundays. How many of you guys dread Sunday nights? I used to. You know, but if you feel that way on Sunday nights, you can do something about that. And this coaching opportunity is it. But you have to have belief. So going back to my story, Jason came to me after me helping him with 2 straight rounds. I done Power 90 and P90X. Lost a total of 80 pounds. Was probably in better shape than I was when I was, you know, playing high school sports. And Jason said to me, are you finally ready to freaking be a coach? You've been pushing me off for 6 months. Because he had asked me for 6 months prior while I was in my fitness transformation, you finally ready to be a coach? And you know what? I said yes. I said for 2 reasons. I'm sick and tired of sending people to you, for one. You know, I had so many people who were asking me questions. I was sick and tired of it. But 2, I actually was kind of attracted to the whole idea of getting my supplements for free. Stuff I was using. Remember, we didn't have Shakeology back then. It was the P90X suite of supplements. So I went in with this discount coach mentality first. And then very quickly, when I started seeing how many people were reacting to the idea of me being a coach and how many people I got to help, which all of you are in the same position, whether you go out there and talk to 4 people a month or 40 people a month, I started very quickly to develop this belief. And I've learned over the last 5-6 years, I'm talking about even a year after becoming a coach, I've learned that belief, whether it's this coaching thing you're doing, whether it's maybe some of you are in college right now and you're working towards your degree, maybe, you know, whatever it is, belief will take you anywhere and give you anything you want. That's the difference in the people who will treat this like a hobby and those who will go all in because of the belief and build a great business. Now, I know Glenn and Mary Beth are going to be in the same exact position as I am very soon. And I say very soon, 18 months, maybe max. They'll be at a point where they'll be able to live a design life. And I'll tell you guys what I mean by design life here in a minute. I know Dan's going to be in that position. And I'm picking on Dan and Glenn and Mary Beth because they're very good friends of mine. I know them very well. But they're going to be in that position because they have belief in what we're doing here as coaches. Carl has deflected this whole idea. And some people don't have belief because they're doing what we call network marketing. How many of you look at what we're doing as network marketing? I'm liking you teaching them good, Glenn, Mary Beth, and Dan. I'm liking this. Too many times on these calls, I get the hand up in the air. I get a hand up saying, oh, that's what we are. We're network marketers. We're working in a network marketing business. That may be true on paper, but if you don't believe what we're doing is network marketing, you're going to be a much better coach than that person who is embracing the whole network marketing aspect. To me, network marketing is an icky thing. And I'm being 100% honest. I don't want to be a network marketer / distributor. Carl kind of coined the phrase way back when I was listening to some early national coach calls. They're called national wake-up calls now. But back in the day, they were called national coach calls. And Carl called us a PHP, a people helping people business. He told everybody who said, Team Beachbody, that's a network marketing arm of your business. He's like, no, I don't do network marketing. So he called us a PHP. And when he coined that phrase, I had even more of a deep belief of what our mission was. It's, we're not selling purses. We're not selling bags. We're not selling makeup. We're not selling, I'm not knocking these other businesses, but we're not selling those things that when you guys get an invitation in the mail, you run to the calendar right away and pray to God there's something else going on that day, so you don't have to go to this party. Am I right? I mean, most of you guys who get those things in the mail, you don't want to go. You sometimes have to go because you feel you need to for your friends. You don't want them to think that of you here as a Beachbody coach. And in order to have your friends, family members, coworkers not look at you guys the same way you look at the Pampered Chef invitation in the mail, is you have to have belief and you have to have passion every single time you talk to somebody about this. And I'm going to give you guys an example. Shakeology is not cheap. It's not. And that might be one of the things that you guys stumble with when you are talking to somebody about a challenge pack or Shakeology in general, is you'll get the rebuttal from them that, man, Shakeology is $130 a bag. I can't afford that. How many of you have heard that? We all have. But it's in how you reply to that, which shows your belief and how what will separate from yourself where you're at right now to the next version of yourself 2.0 as a coach. Every time I get that, my immediate response when they say to me, man, Shakeology is expensive, I immediately reply, no, it's not. That's my immediate, and it's like, it's a reaction now. It's not like something I'm just doing. It's a reaction. I immediately say, no, it's not. And let me tell you why. And I tell them what Shakeology is. I tell them it's not just your protein drink like you're thinking it is. It's an antioxidant. It's a digestive enzyme. It's amino acids. It's pre and probiotics. It's 25 superfoods all put together in a meal. Not a shake. This is a meal. You can't replicate this for $4 a day what it costs. I'll proceed to ask them, what they do in a day to help even show them why I don't believe it's expensive. those people who are trying to eat healthy or whatever will still come back and tell me, yeah, I'm trying to eat healthy. I go to Subway every day, you know, or I go to Chipotle and I get a naked burrito bowl. They're spending a hell of a lot more than $4 if they're doing that every single day. The other big, you know, thing that we talk about with Shakeology is that after I tell them, no, it's really not, I tell them what it's done for me. I tell them that I haven't had any more than a 12-hour cold over the last several years because my immunity is so high from this, you know, from Shakeology. So it's all on how you react, you know, and I give them a solution as well. I say, you know, I understand that maybe $129 seems expensive to you for something you haven't used before, but how about, you know, can you do $40 and I'll give you a week's worth of our travel pack Shakeology, 7 of them for $40, and then that price objection immediately goes away. So for those of you who are not investing in packets to use to rebuke the price objection to Shakeology, there's a solution for it right now. And all those packets that you are investing in to use as a rebuttal or give sample packs to people, that's a total tax deduction. A total tax deduction. So present the idea to them. How about $40? You know, we can do a week's worth. You can try it. You guys all know that once they use it for 1 week, they're going to come back to you for a full month. I would say 9 times out of 10, that's the result of somebody who does agree to try it for a week at $40. They will come back to me and say, it's all in. I'm all in. Let's try it. Then the price objection is gone forever. There's always a way around, you know, the obstacle in your way. Coaches that choose to stand in front of that wall until somebody knocks it down for them are the ones that stay stagnant. They're the ones that are just doing the minimum. But those that figure out a way to knock the wall down or get around it are the ones that are keep moving on to their business. And that's all in the belief that you have. It's all in the belief that you have of what we do as coaches. Because of my belief, you know, I have power hours every single day. And, you know, Glenn mentioned some of my accolades as a coach. There's been a lot of things that I've been proud of that I've achieved of at that. But the number one thing that I'm most proud of is this idea and the Financial Freedom Award that I got, because it's really representative of what I was willing to do every single day. I have power hours. I have 2 sets of them a day, from about 2 to 4, and again from about 9 p.m. at night till about midnight. And I'm not saying everybody can do the same power hours, but I have power hours where I have a list of tasks that I will get done every single day, including my workout, and just different things on a daily basis that I do to work my business. And those power hours may not seem like a big deal, especially if you've seen my power hours. There's very simple things on there, you know, like contacting some of my personally sponsored coaches. I talk to a lot of my customers during those power hours. I'll go out and play and tweak some of my ads on Facebook or my shout outs that I do on Instagram. You know, I have specific, call it a laundry list of things I do in my power hours. And it may not seem like anything earth shattering, but you know what happens when you have power hours every single day for at least 5, if not 6 days a week? You know what happens over a year's time? You'll get 10, 20, 30 new coaches in a year. Okay? You'll go from making $100, $125 a week to making somewhere between $750 and $1,000 a week. It goes very quickly when those power hours are multiplied over and over again for 365 days. How many of you, by a show of hands, are running this business, just working when you feel like it, or have business hours / power hours? How many of you guys have power hours? Okay. I saw a couple people, and I saw a lot of them that don't. Those that don't, what stops you from having a power hour? You know, I'm not asking you guys to respond. It's more of a rhetorical question. But what's stopping you guys from setting up a time of the day when you can say to your spouse, significant other, kids, this is my time to actually work my business, so in a year's time we can afford to take that vacation that you wanted to do, or pay off that car that you wanted to do. You have to have a relationship that's open enough where you can have that conversation with your spouse, significant other. Because if you don't have the support of them going to be a very, very difficult journey as a coach. I mean, obviously, Glenn and Mary Beth are in tune with what we're doing here as coaches. I know Dan has the support of his wife. My wife has totally allowed me to do this thing, and it's given us beautiful things. But if you don't have that support from the spouse, it's going to be very difficult. And sometimes I see those that don't have that support, meaning they're not all in and really believe in it, are the ones that don't have the power hours, the time set up. So you got to have that in your house. And then the other thing that I think is something very important in addition to belief and having power hours is being consistent in your business. Being consistent every day and doing those little things. Now, make no mistake, in addition to myself and Glenn and Mary Beth and Dan, all of you guys are consistent too. I'm telling you guys that. Question is are you consistently good or consistently bad? Every person is consistent. Every person is consistent. But you just have to figure out, are you consistently good in what you're doing as a coach or consistently bad? Guys, and those few things are really what still I'm doing today over and over again. Obviously, there's things within my business structure that I'm doing much different now than I did when I first became a coach. The whole idea of social media has changed so many times over the last several years. When I first became a coach, it was, I'm really going to age myself here, it was, in addition to Facebook, it was MySpace. Those were the two places you went out there and you found people. It was MySpace. You guys are laughing because MySpace is all gone now, but MySpace and Facebook. And nowadays, it's not even so much Facebook anymore that a lot of people are building their business, because Facebook has turned into a gigantic drama fest. I mean, really, Facebook, the news feed is nothing but people bitching about their lives and complaining about the election or whatever. Facebook has become very depressing to a certain degree. So it makes it fertile sometimes to find people who need cries for help. But the things that are fun, the things that are positive to me, that I've been using more to recruit and build my business is Instagram, number one, and I'm getting my feet wet in Snapchat. Snapchat and Instagram are just happy places. Think about if you guys are on Instagram, think about all the people you follow, and I guess that's their version of the news feed. Everything's happy, isn't it? It's just pictures of great things that you're seeing on Snapchat. You don't see negative stuff on Snapchat because it's a snapshot in the life of somebody's. I say snapshot literally, it's pictures. And Snapchat is a great place, especially if you're doing Instagram shout outs to build your business and get 100 or more contacts or recruits every single month. Snapchat, I'm still figuring out exactly the best way to work that. I'm actually taking lessons from my 16-year-old daughter and really how to Snapchat, but I'm getting pretty darn good at it. I'm learning about all the different ways that people are using that to build their Beachbody business. If any of you guys are using Snapchat, who uses Snapchat? Okay, I see Nick. Who else? Okay, there's a few people. If you're using Snapchat and you really want to effectively learn how to really use it for your coaching business, consider following someone like Trey Byer on Snapchat, or from a female perspective, I know that Danielle Natoni uses it. There's some people out there that are using it in a way that basically shows it. Because Snapchat is nothing more than a 24-hour view of your life through short videos and pictures. And they're basically using it to tell a fitness story every single day. And, eventually Snapchat or Instagram is kind of like the appetizer, and they get people to move over to their Facebook page to start communications going and more than that. So, that's obviously been a way that I've changed over the years and different things. And my point is, you have to be willing to adapt, and you have to be willing to change a lot in this business. You can't keep force-feeding the same things over and over again. Facebook is just not a very fertile ground, and you hear Glenn mention it earlier about how this has been a pretty slow summer, slow year overall. And that's not just you guys feeling it. It's not just me feeling it. It's all the coaches in the network feeling it. We had a call with corporate the other day, and it's corporate-wide. And a lot of it's got to do with what we don't know coming up here in November. A lot of people didn't take vacations this year. A lot of people didn't travel. A lot of people aren't spending a lot of money, i.e., helping you guys out by becoming a coach or challenger and all that, because nobody knows what the hell's going to happen in November here when the elections come on. There's not a lot of great things that I think a lot of people feel about the election. I don't want to offend anybody if they're a huge Hillary or Donald fan, but it's kind of been a scary few months, and I'm not excited about either one of these candidates who's going to lead our country here come November. We're either going to have a very radical person in Donald Trump, or we're going to have somebody who I don't think has a lot of integrity in Hillary leading our country. It's going to be, so a lot of people are hanging on to their money. They don't know what's going to happen, but you can't use that as an excuse. I've had to work a little bit harder to maintain the level of business that I'm accustomed to having on a monthly basis, and I'm okay with that. There's nothing wrong with working harder. But guys, we're about to enter, actually in about 2.5, 3 weeks, we're about to enter the second busiest time of the year for Beachbody coaches. And that is basically the first or second week of September, when kids go back to school and routines start to happen again. The fall sports happen, the kids are back in school, parents are now not in vacation mode anymore, and they're starting to think about getting healthy and fit again because the barbecues and the bonfires are done, and it's the second busiest time of the year, right after Labor Day. So you can either start preparing for it now by putting together some to-do lists and inviting some people to, maybe learn about the coaching opportunity and the event you set up. You go live on Facebook and do it that way. Or you can just kind of roll with it and wait for people to come to you. This business as Beachbody coaches is a numbers game. I don't want to scare anybody away, but it's all on how many people you're talking to. I'm going to put it in perspective for you. A successful, and I'm going to use this term one time because I want to put it in my head, but a successful network marketing business like Beachbody, even though we are a PHP, a successful business owner means they hear no 90% of the time. If you're 10% effective, that is generally considered wonderful. That means you are doing great. But again, it's in how many people you talk to. So if you talk to 10 people a month, that means one says yes a month. One. You're not going to reach financial freedom or your fit financial goals as a Beachbody coach if you get one yes a month. But if you talk to 100 people a month and you're 10% effective and get 10 yeses, the 10 yeses are challenge pack purchasers as customers, means the challengers, right? Or 10 yeses to the coaching opportunity. Now you're talking, you guys will be able to do what you want to do and be full-time Beachbody coaches within 18 months to 2 years' time. It took me about 2 years before I had already matched my income at AT&T. And I'm very open about where this business goes, and this might actually, hopefully inspire some of you guys. But when you go all in and you're talking to a lot of people each month, my first year I made $11,000. You're not going to quit your daytime job over $11,000. My second year I made a little over $38,000. That's pretty good. Double. Which job do you have that basically doubles or almost triples, right? My third year jumped to $85,000. Fourth year was over $125,000. Fast forward to this past year, it was almost $600,000 in 1 year. So that's kind of the progression when you go all in and have the belief and you're consistent and you're talking to a lot of people. I'm going to reiterate this again. It's all on how many people you talk to. You talk to 100 people, you're 10% effective, you're getting 10 yeses every single month. That is great. Let's say you're even 5% effective with 100. You're still getting 5 yeses. How many of you are getting 10 yeses a month? I knew I wasn't going to see a lot of hands. Well, Mary Beth, she's a show off, so. But, she's talking to a lot of people, guys. Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat shrinks the world. It allows you to contact several people over and over. If you haven't embraced hashtagging on Instagram, and follow other people who like the same hashtags you're you're following, you're missing out. You know, if you haven't considered doing Instagram shout outs, where you find your favorite fitness pages on Instagram, those with 1 million or 2 million followers, and you contact the owner of that page and say, hey, I want to purchase a shout out from you, or they put one of your pictures up on their page, you're doing yourself a big disservice. There are people out there who are willing to sell an ad on their Instagram page for a very small nominal fee and put your picture and face up to 2 million people out there. That's the easiest way to grow right now. So there are a number of ways where you can take your 1, 2, 3, 4 people you talk to every single month and turn that into 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 or more people you talk to every single month. There's tons of ways that you can grow your business if you get very comfortable being uncomfortable. That's where you grow in this business, is when you totally get uncomfortable and you stay in that uncomfortable state all the time. Those that don't grow are the ones that get comfortable. And I've been guilty of being comfortable a lot. A lot. I can get complacent. I can get cocky. And I can get selfish at times with my business. I've talked to Glenn about this. I think I probably had a conversation or two with Dan about this in the past. It's happened to all of us. Here I am 7 years into my business. I'm actually in my 8th year, but I'm 7 full years. And there's times where I just don't feel like working. But then I get past that, and I go back to work again, and I see the results, and that keeps me going for a while until something else hits me, and I have to slow down again, figure out, reestablish myself, and get going again. So it's okay to have those lulls in the business. But when you continue to foster that lull and not recognize that you're in it and get out, guys, I'm no different than any of you. You know, I'm proud of where I'm at in my business, but I don't ever like talking about the different things I've accomplished with the titles, because I'm a coach just like all of you. I'm a normal person just like every single one of you. I'm just willing to do some of the things maybe you guys aren't willing to do quite yet. And that's one thing that separates. You know, Glenn was at Summit, Dan was at Summit, and you heard Melanie Mitro up on stage talk about, you know, that she is successful because she's willing to do what most of the people in the crowd weren't. Remember her conversation, Glenn? You know, and I remember at first being kind of like almost offended by her conversation, because she was like almost calling people out that she's better at her business than them because she is willing to work harder. And then as she kept talking, it kept sinking in. She wanted to kind of wake something up in me. She wanted to piss me off a little bit, and she wanted to get under the skin of some of those coaches. Melanie Mitro signs anywhere from 60 to 100 coaches a month. But she works a lot. And she doesn't need to work that hard anymore. She's going to be a top coach probably this year again for the 3rd year in a row. And she's still putting a lot of time and effort into this because she believes. She has belief, which brings me full circle back to this thing. She has belief. You know, we have someone like Melissa McAllister. You guys may or may not know who she is. She's in the top 10. She's the only coach since they've had those top 10 trips who's been in every single top 10 trip or chairman's club since it started. And she's been a coach longer than me. She still has belief. What is this, the 8th chairman's trip coming up? 7th or 8th? She still has belief, so she still works her ass off, figuring out ways to still reinvent herself. So that brings me back full circle. Glenn, I want to take an opportunity and open it up for questions, but you know, I really kind of get passionate when it comes to this whole belief topic because, you know, it's kind of motivation that gets anybody started. All of you were very motivated when you first became a coach because, you know, your leaders are so very motivational themselves and they got you going. But motivation has to be replaced. It has to be replaced by consistency or belief. It has to. Motivation's only going to take you so far. You can only stay highly motivated at the very start for so long. If you don't replace motivation with activity, and activity I mean by belief and consistency. You don't replace it with that, you burn out. You know, you just burn out. And you can always rediscover motivation, but motivation never lasts. And I hope I'm coming across the right way when I say that, because motivation is great. It's what gets everybody started, but it doesn't last. What does last is belief. That's what gets you to the next stage and keep you working after the motivation wears off. Len?
I would agree with you 100% there. I know that Dan had messaged me earlier on and said that he had a couple questions. So I'm going to let Dan, if you want to go ahead and ask your questions, go for it.
Yeah, no, I'll try to keep it short because I know we've been on for a while. But you had started the call by asking, what does your team need to hear about, or what's going on through the team? What is a good topic to talk about? And I think belief was and is a good topic. And you kind of wrapped it up there with motivation, which leads me to the question, what are some things that you specifically, because I believe everybody on this call right now believes, I agree, that's why they're coaches, that's why they get on this call. They believe because they've had an experience with this product and they want to share that. And a lot of times we can motivate other people to join us because we're excited about it. But what are some things that you specifically do to help instill belief with newer coaches so that they continue to get to that point where they understand the work that goes into this? Does that make sense?
Well, I mean, are you kind of saying what still keeps me going after 7-8 years? Like what, or you?
Yeah, not necessarily you. I know what keeps you going. And I'm saying, like, when you bring on a new coach to your team, and I know it's a numbers game, so you might bring on a ton of coaches, but you bring on a new coach and they're excited because they want to do this, but then they find out just how hard it is. Obviously they have belief in the product, but they haven't yet had the belief built up in the coaching because it's hard when you first start. So what are some things that you specifically do to help instill that belief in a new coach, in a brand new coach?
And obviously not every person that I bring in is going to be the next version of me. It's just,
right.
None of us can be 100% effective with every coach we come in, because there requires a certain amount of self motivation there. You can't push somebody else to do what you want. They have to be motivated to do the thing. But when I first start off a new coach, Dan, it's no different than the same things I was doing 4 and 5 and 6 years ago. First thing I do is get on the phone with them within a couple of days of them joining, because when they first become a coach, I give them some small tasks in the back office to read up on a couple of mini videos. And then about 48 hours later, I still do the cheesy getting started right. I still do that. And I get them in touch with a couple of things. One, I have to figure out why they became a coach. I need to know why they became a coach. I need to know what they need from this. And I've heard things from, I just need to make some additional income so we can make ends meet. I've heard other people say, I need to be a coach for the accountability factor. I'm not real excited about the business yet, but I need this just for me to stay accountable. I've heard other people say, I want to quit my full-time job. I cannot stand being sick on a Sunday night anymore. I need this. So for me, it's getting them in touch with their why, and we establish what their why is, and then I revisit with them every opportunity that I talk to them live. I ask them, I touch what I call pressure points. How's that job? How is whatever it is? So for me, it's getting them in touch with their why. From a business side of it, I'm doing that so I can get them to do 2 things within their first 30 to 60 days. I want every new coach to make Success Club that first month, which is why I try to sign most of my new coaches up early in the month. Not to say I don't take coaches later in the month, because obviously you will work with somebody. I'm actually signing up 2 coaches tomorrow on the 20th of the month or 19th, whatever it is. But I still want even those people tomorrow to make Success Club. And then I'm also showing them, hopefully by the end of their second month, how to be Emerald. Because once you get a coach to Emerald and or show them how to make Success Club that first time, just statistically, I've seen those coaches be much more successful than the ones that don't do it from the start. That coach that makes Success Club has already made back and more, but they invested in becoming a coach. The challenge pack price has already been paid for because they made a couple $60 or $70 commissions off the challenge pack, so maybe a commission off of this or that. They've already got a couple coaches now who are depending on them, which kind of keeps them motivated to ask questions and get to be a better leader. So I've just seen statistically, if I can get my new coaches to really invest and get in touch with their why with me, and then show them how to make Success Club and become an Emerald coach in those first 30 to 60 days, it's much easier for me as a leader to help that person continue to grow.
Right. So I'm going to ask you, and obviously I know the answer to some of these. I'm asking these questions for the benefit of everybody to hear. But if you can think way back 7 years ago when you were a brand new coach and you were trying to, now obviously like you say, you didn't have Success Club, didn't have all that stuff. So maybe you don't know the feeling. But understanding, like obviously we have a lot of new coaches on this call, you know, it's hard for them to confidently speak to somebody as a new person and talk about that why and get in touch with that. Like what are some things, some tips that you could give newer coaches to help build that confidence? And I think I know the answer, but obviously I'm posing it to you.
Yeah, I mean, how to be confident in themselves to help somebody else, what you're asking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so one of the things early on that I did as a brand new coach is I utilized my upline, okay? I wasn't 100% up to date on everything Beachbody coaching when I first became a coach. So Jason, to me, was on some of my early calls to help me out. I utilized that three-way. Call. Nowadays, people don't make phone calls anymore. They're text messaging or doing these types of things.
Right.
One of my favorite things about Summit this year was when Gary Vee talked about how many people actually get pissed off when their phone rings. A lot of people get pissed off when somebody calls you. Nobody wants calls anymore. They want you to be texted.
Is that why you didn't answer my call earlier tonight, Jeff?
You call?
Yeah.
My phone's upstairs, so I'm sure I'll see it when I go up. Did you call just before this call?
Yeah.
It's my phone's upstairs. So I was down here getting ready for this. But I utilize a three-way, Dan, meaning I will edify and use somebody who does know what I don't yet until I become confident. And while I'm on that call, I will be taking notes. Okay? For instance, I've got, and I don't know if you guys have shared this with your team, and maybe you guys have your own, and that's fine too. But I learned early on that a lot of coaches don't know how to present the coaching opportunity to others. They don't know how to talk about it confidently quite yet. So they're not signing a lot of coaches because they're not 100% confident. That's why I went out there and I videotaped one of my What is Coaching opportunity calls that I usually do on GoToMeeting, and we were utilizing for our team. And I put one on YouTube to where when somebody says, man, I really want to show this person about coaching, but I don't really know how to talk about it yet. They utilize my link, send that to them, they watch it, and that helps them explain the coaching out. Or they watch it themselves, just so they take notes and they do that. So, you know, that's another way.
Where to find that link?
Yeah, it's actually what I'll do.
I think we put it in the files once. I think we have it.
Check it. If it's not there, Glenn, tag me and I'll post the YouTube link.
Okay, cool.
It's still out there on YouTube. I utilize it every day.
Well, and I think I like what you said too. I mean, you utilized your upline, you found somebody who knew the answers, but I think the other key to that is you continue to have those conversations over and over again, even if you felt awkward the first time.
Yeah.
Because if at some point you had to take over the reins and say, all right, Jason's helped me with this X amount of times. I'm going to do one on my own. Jason, will you listen and tell me how I did?
Yeah, I was scared shitless the first coach opportunity call I did.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sitting here in my basement all by myself. There's still people on there that was wanting to know about it, and I don't want to be the reason they didn't become a coach. So
right. Well, and 7 years later, that's way easier. And we can see the confidence that you have now 7 years later. And I think that's kind of some of the point I want to try and get across to newer coaches is it's like you said, you have to have belief, and it's not easy. And it's hard to have that confidence. But if you continue to chip away at it and try and don't give up just because it was awkward, 7 years from now, you may be a whole lot better at it, making $600,000 a year.
When you become scared to do stuff, that's when you grow.
Yeah.
You know, when you don't let the fear win and you say, screw it, I'm just going to do this. It works out. doesn't work out, and I'll learn from it and try again. But those that let fear stop you from doing anything, talking to somebody, 6 years ago, Dan, I couldn't just go up to anybody and have a conversation. That wasn't me.
Right.
But now, the greatest thing about being a Beachbody coach is not knowing who I'm going to meet every day. That is the greatest thing about being a coach, is not knowing who's going to come into my life.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best thing about being a Beachbody coach. When I first became a Beachbody coach, I had 110 Facebook friends, and now I got maxed out page, and every now and then have to remove somebody that become negative on there just to add somebody new positive in there. So it's a cool effect of actually getting uncomfortable every day of my life.
Yeah.
That's you have to. So.
No, and that's cool because I know that your story of where you came from and the battles that you had. So you've had to learn to have those conversations and fight through some of those things. And I think that's just good for our newer coaches to hear that, this is going to be awkward. It's going to be tough, but it can be a great thing if you don't give up on it. Keep doing your best.
It is. I think I met you the first time freaking at Segui's event in Traverse City. That was when we met for the first time. We had talked quite a bit before.
Actually, we met Alpina.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Saturday. Segui wasn't there, was he, or did he come after?
That was Segui and Carl's event. Remember we went over to the Nautical Center and had that dinner and everything?
Yeah.
That was a Segui and Carl event, all with Trina Gray and Alpina.
Yeah, I love Trina.
Yeah. So good questions. Who else has some questions? Don't let fear grab you. Ask me anything. They don't know what they don't know to ask, really. Hopefully you guys are taking some good notes because, it's the information you take away from these calls and utilize it. It was funny. I was talking to a group of coaches last night, and we got on this whole topic about all these coaches that ask so many questions or take so many notes, but then they close that book and they don't do anything with it. And I replied back to Lindsay Weiss, we were talking to last night, and I replied back to Lindsay. I said, "Oh, you're talking about assholes, not ASS, ASK, assholes. Those are the people that ask 100 questions or take a bunch of notes, but they don't do anything with it." And we all know a lot of people in our lives who are assholes, especially if you work a day job, But what you don't want to become is one of those people yourself. So take this information that you get from these awesome calls that your leaders are putting on and put it into play. Don't let it just sit there and collect dust in a notepad. Do something with it. Don't be an asshole.
Jeff, I have a question for you. This is Mappy.
Hey, Mappy.
How are you?
Good.
Hey, thank you for all the information. It's a great call. Lots of good info here. But I had a question for you. When you said Jason approached you,
yep.
This is something that I've been hearing a lot, especially since Bonnie Engel's call, of lots of coaches growing their business and starting with the business opportunity and not necessarily or leading their businesses with the offering of the business opportunity, not necessarily a way to lose weight or getting healthy. And it's something that I've heard more in the last couple of months. I saw it a couple of, I think it was yesterday too, that Anita Miron shared it and saying she starts a business exactly with that, with business before she does fitness. So I thought I would ask you about that and see what are your thoughts on that? What is that you apply on your business? How do you approach people in general? Are you going after everybody in terms of improving their health, or are you leading the growth in your business with the business opportunity?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I get asked this a lot, and I love this question just because what Mappy is basically asking is do I present people right away the coaching opportunity, or do I get them engaged in the culture first? And the answer to that is basically both, and I'm going to explain why, Mappy. There's two different types of recruiting that I do. There is the recruiting where I'm specifically looking for people that want to get healthy and fit, people that have followed my journey on Facebook. Those conversations have ensued, through comments, through inbox messages, through Facebook. So for that type of crowd, Mobby, I want to get them engaged in the accountability factor and working on themselves first, which basically means I want to lead with fitness, okay? That has always been my passion, and that's where most of my coaches have come from. When I say most, I'm going to say 75 to 80% of them, because not everybody. Some people just approach me about being a coach right away. But the vast majority of my personally sponsored coaches have come from engaging in the culture through a program first, through the fitness first, through loving Beachbody, and then it naturally turned into coaching. That has been the biggest way that I've grown over the last 5 to 6 years until recently. Recently, and I'm saying within the last year, in Instagram, I have targeted those people that already love fitness with the business opportunity. I mentioned it earlier. I do a lot of Instagram shout outs where I'm purchasing an ad on somebody's fitness related page. And then I'm leading with the business opportunity that I'm looking for people that love health and fitness, that are maybe already personal trainers, people that just live, eat, and breathe fitness, who wants to start their own stay-at-home business as an online fitness coach. So I am targeting some of those people. I've only started doing that recently, but that's because there's a ready-made audience already for them. For the average person who is recruiting through blood, sweat, and tears, through social media, through the comments and connecting with people, through adding new people on Facebook, I feel it's a disservice to immediately go right to the coaching opportunity, because I think people think that it's icky and it's tough to do. And I know that's contradictory to what some of these top leaders are doing, but what I will tell you that you're not seeing from a lot of the top leaders is that there's a lot of fall off, or there's a lot of let's see what sticks and what doesn't stick when you lead with a business opportunity all the time, if that makes sense. Too many, I think, people who do that have gross numbers in mind of how many success points they want every single month, 30, 40, 50, 60. So they lead with a business opportunity, and then over the course of the next few months, they are very system dependent. And those coaches that can embrace a system and become an Emerald coach on their own, then we'll get the attention of that coach, meaning some people stick and some people don't. I believe in the moment somebody invests time with me to become a coach, we're going to do a 48-hour getting started right call. We're going to have calls as frequently as they want, their need. We're going to have check-ins. I'm going to see how things are going with them. A new coach, obviously a veteran coach doesn't need that as much, but the newer coaches do. I believe that anybody that signs with me deserves my time. So that's just how I go for it. I don't like the 30, 40, 50 coaches a month and see who sticks. Does that make sense? She's on mute. She's talking to the...
Sorry. Yes. I kept saying yes. Yes. Thank you. That makes sense for sure.
Yeah. I mean, there are ready-made audiences out there if you're willing to invest and find those, and so you can lead with the coaching opportunity. But for the most part, and the vast majority of the people you're going to talk to on a day-to-day basis through just your communications, I believe it's important to engage them in the culture first. So then it becomes a very easy transition to becoming a coach.
Yeah. Then another question I have for you is, I obviously follow you on social media, and I see you posting a lot of stuff about leadership and different things. But so then I just assume that most of your invitations to join your fitness wagon are done privately. Is that the case?
Yeah. I don't like putting what you call, hey, I'm a coach, do you want to be a coach too type ads out on Facebook. Okay. I like to share a journey. I like to share, and that journey isn't just healthy and fit all the time. It's journey with my family. It's journey with my passions in life. I mean, most people know me as the Disney coach in our network, or the Michigan State guy, because I live my life out loud, and that includes other passions out there. But if I post 5 times a day, I can guarantee you at least one or two of them is going to be something about leadership or personal development / health and fitness to make people think. Okay. So when I get a lot of likes or a lot of replies from the same people, I will engage them through inboxes. I will engage them maybe even with a post on their wall that you may not see. You know, I engage them, and I guess my answer is I engage them one-on-one in some sort of medium. If somebody I know is already on my phone, I'll text message them. So a lot of what you don't see is the recruiting I'm doing of them behind the scenes. I don't like to put salesy posts on my page because I don't want people to avoid me because they think I'm trying to sell them and everything. I want people honestly to learn about me, my lifestyle, and feel comfortable with me before they actually ask me, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Thank you. I just assumed you did a lot of private messaging.
Yep.
I do love the posts that you have, very good posts about leadership, and in some of your posts, like, it just makes you think, about your current lifestyle. So I love that.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to engage people. I want to get them a little uncomfortable, so they say, you know what, he's right. I got to do something. You know, a lot of my stuff is what we call call to action. They're call to action posts. You know, and sometimes that means being a little controversial. You know, there's sometimes that I post things. My intent is to rile things up a little bit. What I won't do is I won't go political. Meaning I won't give my feeling on this. I won't come out and say who I'm voting for ever on social media. I won't come out and say that I support or don't support transgender bathrooms. I won't alienate myself and draw a line in the sand. I may ask a question, you know, guys, are you scared of the election? Or I may ask a question, you know, how do you feel about, you know, transgender bathroom situation? And because I know it's going to get a lot of communication going, and a lot of what I'm really doing is trying to boost my Facebook affinity, trying to get more people to see my other posts on newsfeed. And the way you do that is by asking questions. So you guys don't want to, if I can be fatherly to you, what you don't want to do is create drama on your page and draw a line in the sand like you believe in this or that. Because if you do that, you're turning yourself into, well, he supports this, so fuck him with his Beachbody stuff. That's what you don't want to do. It's okay to be controversial, but don't draw a line in the sand and say you're on this side or that side. Ask a lot of questions, too. You want to boost your Facebook affinity? It doesn't have to be about Beachbody or health and fitness. Post tomorrow, guys, who was the very first concert you went and saw? You're going to get 100 or 150 replies from everybody from Cinderella to Whitesnake to whatever. That's what your goal is, to get people to reply, so the next post you post about health and fitness shows up in their newsfeed. That's how Facebook works, Facebook affinity. Affinity, if you're not getting a lot of activity on your page, Facebook hides your posts in the newsfeed. How do you get a lot of activity and likes and all that? You post questions. One of my most famous posts ever was, how much do you tip your pizza driver? People are giving all these different amounts. Got like 250 replies. But yet the next day when I posted something about a challenge group, I got a lot of likes and questions about it. Facebook affinity. Facebook is nothing more than a giant bay window into your life. Facebook is nothing more than free public stalking. That's what it is. We are putting our lives out there so people can stalk our lives. We're just doing it voluntarily versus some creeper doing it to you. So just be positive and make people want to connect with you. Show your journey. Don't sell. Share your journey instead. That makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's huge. I think this business, one of the things you always have told me, Jeff, even when we did our first call together 5 years ago when I became a coach, it was, the whole coming from sales, orthopedic sales, you're like, dude, you need to stop the selling mindset.
Yep.
This business is about sharing your results, sharing people's wins, sharing, it's all about sharing and stories versus selling and trying to sell something. Now, granted, there is a point when you finally do have to ask, are you ready to do this? But
that's okay.
And you've answered questions, you've given them all the information they need in order to make the decision.
And that's okay. Glenn, freaking touched on something that's really important for you, all you guys to understand. You do have to come to a point where you ask for what you want. Okay, how many of you guys have had a lot of conversations with people about Shakeology or 21 Day Fix or whatever the hell it was from Beachbody, but you're waiting for them to say to you, okay, I want to buy it. How many of you guys wait for them?
I make that mistake all the time.
Okay.
And honestly, it is because I lack the words. I don't know how to bring it back to me.
And I'm going to tell you exactly what to say, Mappy.
Okay.
And you're going to say to yourself, holy crap, is that easy? So Barbie Decker, one of my really good friends, you guys know her now as Barbie Kalev. She's married to Sagi, right? Very good friend of mine. I was struggling with this a long time ago. And I asked her, I said, Barbie, how do you get them to make the purchase? And she's like, Jeff, you ask them for the purchase. Like, what do you mean? She's like, well, you've had conversations with these people. You know they're freaking interested, right? Yeah. Because if you've had several conversations or back and forth text messages or inboxes, whatever, you know they're interested. Why don't you just basically say, Jill, go grab your credit card. We're going to order it. Or, Bill, grab your laptop. We're going to place the order right now. And I'm like, you just do that? She's like, yeah. She's like, you're going to be surprised how much you hear yes. And when you don't hear yes, they're going to say, well, I can't right now, but I can do it this Friday. You say, cool, I'll call you Friday at 11. You're setting an appointment. Ask for what you want. Don't wait for them. They're waiting for you to lead them to the last step. They're waiting for you to say, hey, go grab your credit card. You're talking to them on the phone. We're going to place the order right now. You know how many times you're going to say, holy crap, it was that easy, Mappy. Ask for what you want, because what you want is really what they want. You have to understand that you've had several conversations. They're interested. They would have told you to go F off a long time ago if they weren't. So if you're having conversations, they're interested. At that point, you say to them, if you're with them, you grab a laptop and say, hey, I just put in your cart. Go ahead and finish the order out. If you're not with them, you tell them to go grab their iPad or their laptop and let's place the order right now. Go grab your credit card. I do that all the time. And while I hear no occasionally, that's generally because I can't do it right now. I gotta wait till Friday. I'll set the appointment. But I hear yes a lot. Okay, cool. Hold on a second. First time I did that, I said to the person, hey, go grab your card. We're gonna place the order. She said, okay, and I heard the phone go down. I said, holy shit, that worked. It changed everything for me. I called Barb, or I didn't call her. I texted her. I said, thank you. That really works. You got to ask for what you want. So, Glenn, you just touched on something that just kind of, you got to ask for what you want. If they're interested, you know they're interested. Lead them to the end.
Okay.
Don't wait. If you wait for people, you're going to be waiting all the time because people they don't know what they don't know. They're waiting for you to show them the last step. You tell them, click on it, add it to your cart, let's buy it right now, and when you get it, we'll go over everything. Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's big.
People need to know how to close. And closing just means leading them to the last step. You know they're interested. You can tell when they're not. You don't get to your third, fourth, or fifth conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So.
All right, well, I'll tell you what, we are just over an hour, which is a long exceeds what we normally do. But, man, I did not want to cut you off, Jeff. I think that all the information you shared with us was spot on. It was motivating, encouraging, and I hope that you guys found some value in that. Jeff has always made himself available to us, his downline. So, you know, if you ever have any questions, Jeff, I can tell them. Do you want them to go right to you or through?
Tag me in your group. Tag me in your page. That's
right. Jeff's on our team. He's on our team page. So if you tag Jeffrey Armbruster, you will, he'll see it then. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, and that way we can all see it too. So
I've always had this mentality. We are all coaches. All of us are just coaches.
Right.
Don't worry about the titles, the accolades. We're all coaches. Every single one of you can help 10 or more people get healthy and fit, and it just skyrockets from there.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well,
thanks so much, Jeffrey.
Take care, guys.
Thank you very much, everyone, for getting on and sticking in, and we'll see you next week.
Peace.